Hello everyone and welcome back to another highlight video for the Montreal Expos Backyard Baseball 2001 season mode. This is from our penultimate game of the regular season where we were playing the Detroit Tigers. And as has happened quite often this year, we got off to a very strong start as Pablo Sanchez takes advantage of a first pitch slow ball and hits it right off the car in left field for a solo home run to get us started in the top of the first. We have been the beneficiaries of numerous first-inning home runs this season, and this game was no different. Pablo Sanchez continuing his absolute tear that he has been on in the second half of the season. Later in the inning, Vladimir Guerrero is up with one on, a full count and 2 outs. He hits a fly ball to right field that is mishandled by Juan Gonzalez, and we are able to get a double out of it as Vladimir just sneaks in at second base. So we're looking good to add to our lead. Unfortunately, Ernie Steele is struck out, and that ends the threat in the top of the first. And in the bottom of the first, Veronica Lee gets the Tigers off to a very strong start as she rips the first pitch opposite field. Vladimir Guerrero unable to make the play, and Veronica Lee is able to get a lead-off double. However, Luann comes right back, and on the bunt, she makes a very assertive play to third base to gun down the runner, and later that inning, they have first and third, and they go for a shocking double steal, trying to steal home. Dante Robinson just holding the ball and very patient, makes a great play to third base. So Juan Gonzalez has to come up again in the bottom of the second, and he is going to rip one into the gap just past Vladimir Guerrero. You wonder about the decision-making in the bottom of the first there with this kind of power. However, Guerrero does gun him down at second base, another strong defensive play. Second and third, though, later in the inning, it's a line drive to left, but Ernie Steele makes the catch, and we get out of another jam. Top of the third, our turn to threaten. Mikey Thomas up with nobody out and a runner on first, but the catcher has an absolute cannon, and then Pablo gets a little caught because they keep misfielding the ball, and so he gets stuck in no man's land and eventually thrown out. Bottom of the third, the Tigers threaten again with 1 on and 2 outs, and we misplay this little pop-up. So we are stuck with 2 on, and once again, Juan Gonzalez up with a chance to tie the game or take the lead, but they steal again, and this time we get the out at third base. So it's our turn in the top of the fourth. Dante Robinson hits a little pop-up to third. That is caught, and Jocinda Smith is slightly too far away, and she gets doubled off. So there's 2 on again in the bottom of the fourth, and this time the Tigers drop down a crazy bunt with 2 on and 2 out, and we are unable to prevent the ball from going into the outfield. So they are able to tie the game on the crazy bunt, but we do throw out the hitter at second base once again. 2 on for the Tigers again in the bottom of the fifth, and this time Juan Gonzalez is able to bat in both runners. They didn't try anything too crazy this time, and Juan Gonzalez gets the job done with a 2-run double. We are down 3-1 with Mikey Thomas leading off in the top of the sixth, and he hits this little ground ball to second base, looks dead to rights, but they overthrow the pitcher covering, and Mikey thinks about going to second and then decides better of it. So 1 on for Keisha Phillips, and she gets a hold of one and sends it to straightaway center field. It looked a little iffy, but it gets over the fence, and it is a 2-run game-tying home run for Keisha Phillips. We were not behind for long at this point in the game, having survived numerous threats, but not all of them. The Tigers getting just many base runners throughout the entirety of the game. However, after that 2-run home run, the game settled down until the bottom of the eighth, where the pitcher Henri Deschênes leads off. It is mishandled by Annie Frazier. A tough chance, but should have been caught. He ends up stealing second. Kenny Kawaguchi is up next. He hits a doinker into left. Pablo gets there. He is unable to make the catch. So now there are 2 on and 1 out on a couple of misfields. Wendy Parsons is up. She strikes out swinging, and they go for the double steal again, and we should have the runner out, but Mikey Thomas misfields at third base. So 2 on, 2 out. Maya Woodruff up to bat, and she hits a line drive single to center field. Just a beautiful swing of the bat. Exactly what she needed to do in that situation, and it is a 2-run single, giving the Tigers the 5-3 lead, and we are not able to muster anything in the top of the 9th. Luan putting a little too much oomph into that bunt, gets thrown out to end the game, and we lose to the Tigers 5-3 in a game that just had a little bit of everything. Numerous base runners, good defense at the right times, but not always, as we make a few too many mistakes and give the Tigers a few too many chances. They eventually convert, and they get a deserved victory. But we still have 1 game to go, and we will hope to make a comeback and get the positive momentum working again.